that happened after I left, their fault entirely.
So maybe it's a good idea to talk about her migraines if you're trying
Exactly
to make sure
right.
people don't take a look at other things.
In that weaselly
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, like your record.
All right. New Secretary of Defense Leon Panetta has decided to summarily end the ban on gays serving openly in the armed forces, and that it will not affect the military's readiness or ability to fight. The decision goes into effect today. This is another one of those things. I feel like we have talked it to death, discussed it to death. All sides have been heard. Clearly, with each succeeding generation of Americans, there is less and less belief in this idea that gay people pollute you or convert you or whatever it is.
They make you gay.
Yeah. So, this seems like enough already.
Yeah, I don't
Is
know.
this over?
The word summarily in there because it wasn't summarily.
Okay,
No.
but I mean, is it? But he's saying I'm issuing the order.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not ordering another study. I'm not saying it's a goal. It's over.
I thought it was over.
Should
I
there
thought
be?
it was
Should,
done.
should this be? Should this be the end of it?
Yes.
Sort of asking the Durango Street question.
Yes, I think we're done. It'll happen. The Army will continue to perform as it has performed before, and I think that'll be the end of it.
If anything,
So,
they'll perform even more fabulously.
even more fabulously,
Yes.
on time. And all
You think
that
there's
kind
any
of thing.
connection between
But-
the gays in the military and the increasing interest of Hollywood celebrities in attending the military ball? Because it's sort of does this make the military sort of suddenly very hip and cool for Hollywood? Think about it, Steven. I mean, they were only interested in making World War II movies. Anything after World War II the military did is like, forget about it, right? But now all of a sudden, today's military, very hip and happening for Hollywood.
There is the long
Well, they
tradition
are.
of the gay date that you can safely take home to mom. So
I'm just trying to make a connection. I'm just trying to find the connection between those two things. All right. Well, I don't think we'll lose the war or anything because of gay troops. Now, we learned this week that taxpayers probably lost somewhere in the neighborhood of $1.3 billion on the Chrysler bailout. Chrysler has now been sold to Fiat, and people are going to say on one side, it may have cost a lot of money, but it was worth preserving one of the big three automakers. The auto industry is very important to the United States. On the other hand, people are going to say, this is exactly what we warned you about. This was throwing bad money after good. There's no indication that Chrysler is suddenly going to start making better or more competitive cars. In fact, there's not a lot of encouragement, if you're a car guy, looking at what Chrysler's doing. What about that, Steven Stoli?
Well, in that case, I'm a person who says if you can't, cut the mustard, you get out, and that's, if we've had so many companies that have been around for years and generations that are no longer around anymore.
Just in the auto industry.
In the auto
Right,
industry,
companies
and
that would
where's
go under after
Encyclopedia
80
Britannica?
years, yeah.
Used to be a salesman everywhere for those people.
So you believe in
so-
the creative destruction, as Schumpeter used to call it, the idea that in a free market things have to go down in order for new.
Well, I
things
know
to
this.
be
If they've
created.
taken that, now I know 1.5 billion is nothing compared to the big picture. That's what our politicians think. But
We
I
just
think
spent that
every
during
every
this
American could
conversation.
probably done some better money with it, in their own household or own
So what's the
whatever. I
verdict
don't
on
know.
the Chrysler bailout? Good idea, bad idea, glad we did it, sad
Very,
we
very
did
bad
it.
idea. Very bad idea.
You can't keep. If it's not going to work, it's not going to work. You can't keep throwing bad money out there. It's just the way it is. I would feel for those people losing their jobs and stuff, but they have to reinvent themselves. Borders is going out of business. These people, if you don't keep up with the times,
Should
you
we
don't keep
bail
up
out
with
Borders,
people.
Elaine?
No, and I mean I do think the problem with that sort of thing is when you enter into something like that, you do undercut what is sort of a natural evolution of a market, right? If you don't have to compete to follow, if somebody is subsidizing what is essentially going to be an obsolete model, that's not a good thing long term for the economy as a whole. There must be some smarter way to do it, right? Again, if those are our only choices, either we bail them out and let them continue to perform the way they've performed unsuccessfully for a while, and I mean there's a larger political context for that as well. I mean there are reasons that our automakers have done poorly recently and their workers, and it's not just about their failure to innovate. But do you just cut them off completely, or do you continue to nurture them the way they are? There must be something in between, right, in terms of workforce retraining that we haven't done very well. So
I wonder if we could have a 3 bailouts limit. Chrysler now, this is the second one. Could we have like third time no dice? Could that be the policy?
We'll have a
or
one bailout?
Yeah. Oh well, I didn't want to get too radical here for the room. You know, I didn't want to make you guys uncomfortable. And by the way, it does seem a little odd that at the end of all this, it winds up being owned by Italy. Like
It is a little
how did that work out? You know, the Italians are probably like, is the other shoe going to drop, or did we really just get Chrysler? You know.
Italy is like a reality show right now. I mean, with everything that's going on over there.
Yeah, this should be a very well managed company from here on out.
Yeah, you know, basically they'll install one of his girlfriends, right, as the head of the company, one of his former girlfriends. She'll look awesome on television.
It seems kind of sexist of you.
He
Can
only
a
has
woman-
girlfriends. If he had boyfriends,
Oh,
I'd say
all
one
right.
of his boyfriends.
All
That's
right.
been his
All
power.
right.
So,
All right.
yeah.
In any event, we're ready for the lightning round. Are you ready for the lightning round?
I'm ready.
All right, lightning round right after we check headlines from Christian
Jay?
on
Yes,
News Talk
I-
550 KTSA. Wake up, Jay!
I thought that was
For this one. Time for the lightning round on Gang of Four. They haven't really worked hard yet, but we're going to put them to work now. Our Gang of Four, Jay Tope, Elaine Wolff, and Steven Stoli. All right, I want to start. We got to get this out of the way because it's so uncomfortable. We just need to hear this and then move on with our lives and our weekend. Linda Hamilton. Remember Linda Hamilton, the Terminator 2 star? Remember how there was a big deal when she came out in that movie because she had worked out, she had like a buff upper body, and we hadn't seen that much in women yet. Madonna, people like that. All right, so she was this gorgeous leading. Well, I don't know what happened to Linda Hamilton in the last 20 years, but she has gotten caught up in this celebrity wave of ask a Marine to the ball thing, and she is, well, she sounds rather desperate. So this is not something from Match.com. This is Elaine. Excuse me. Sorry, Elaine. This is Linda. I'm gonna pay for that. This is Linda Hamilton proposing a date with a Marine. I don't know where to begin, Elaine Wolff. I mean, you don't.
That's not real, right?
No, that is real.
Yeah,
No.
that's definitely real.
That's her.
Yeah.
But is it for real or is she just going to
She could be giving Betty White a hard time.
Yeah. No, I actually was thinking, now that I heard that, why couldn't this be like Dancing with the Stars, the whole thing?
Right.
Yeah, so they could rehearse it.
I'm a little troubled by by all of it.
She
My
sounded
eyes are
like-
puffy. You probably don't want me. I'm no Betty White.
Vintage.
By the way, if I'm no Betty White, that's not a good way of introducing yourself.
Oh no, Betty White has had a total, she's hot right now.
I understand
She's-
that,
okay.
but you can't. You know what I mean?
I'm no Jack Klugman, but
Yeah. Thank you. That's probably a line Jay has never used, I would guess.
She sounded like a soap opera actress. I mean, that was really bad acting. I mean, that was,
if it was
if
acting,
it was acting, but I thought she was better.
It
well,
wasn't sexy also.
She later goes on to say, I'm only half as mature as Betty White. I think you're more than half, honey buns. Let's not play games here, okay? Let's see, half as mature. She'd only be in her mid-40s. I don't think so. But I am twice as funny. She says, I don't want to get pitiful. Too late. But please take me to the ball. Please, 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 Ray, call me.
Yeah.
I think Ray would be more likely to take one of the other soldiers, especially now, than to take Linda Hamilton.
I think he'd be more likely to take one of the dead Golden Girls than.
It's just unbelievable.
Hamilton.
It's just unbelievable.
there's so much that you could make of this that you could not say on radio. It's not even.
But
funny.
all of this
Oh, but
started with that.
let me do it.
All of this started with
You're thrown off the air,
that.
Jack.
What's her name? Mila Kunis.
Yes.
Right? It all started with her, and yeah, now it's just gotten completely out of hand.
This is just Betty White backlash.
Yeah. Now it's just
Betty White
It's Betty
backlash.
White backlash.
BWB.
It's yeah.
Kim Kardashian. Have you heard this? Kim Kardashian is suing Old Navy because in a series of, or in an ad, I guess it's not a series of ads, but in a series of promotions and a TV ad, Old Navy is using a model that resembles Kim Kardashian. Now, they don't say it's her, they don't hint that it's her, it's just a girl who looks like Kim Kardashian. The lawsuit says Kardashian has, quote, invested substantial time, energy, finances, and entrepreneurial effort in developing her considerable professional and commercial achievements. That's a long way of saying she was a friend of Paris Hilton. In achieving her popularity, fame, and prominence in the public eye, and how dare they try to cash in on that.
Has that model countersued yet for Kim Kardashian trying to limit her economic opportunities?
I did not think of
That's
that.
what needs to happen.
Why, could this even be? I mean, how can this even be a lawsuit? You can't sue somebody for looking like you?
Yes, but if Kim Kardashian thinks that she's not getting enough publicity, what better way to do it than to file a frivolous lawsuit that every single media outlet is going to cover extensively?
She's like the #1 most searched person on Yahoo every day, though, Jay. What more could happen for her?
But that's on Google.
yeah, but that's the key. The key is every day you've got to reinvent yourself and do something a little nuttier than the day before, and this is just another example of that.
It seems like whoever the hot model of the moment is, like I can remember, I'm going to date myself here yet again, Cindy Crawford. All of a sudden, when she was, on top, every model had a beauty mark, or Christy Brinkley, or what. I mean, all this means is, hey, you should be flattered. Everybody wants that look that you have right now, right?
Why
Why does she sue her sisters? Her sisters look like her. Why don't she sue her sisters?
They would just go away. The Kardashians.
Oh, that's so mean.
I don't mean physically. Well,
Why
yeah.
are you so anti-Kardashian?
Well, because I don't know what they've done. Except for
You don't
being
have to
on.
do anything anymore to be famous. You're famous for being famous.
That's okay.
That's hot.
I like
But
people
isn't that
who are-
true? I mean, aren't we now seeing people who are famous and we know they are, but we don't exactly know
Well,
how
and
they...
you actually get to the core of something there. I mean, she is famous for being famous. She's famous for being Kim Kardashian, so she does have a brand to protect.
Right.
Right. She does have a brand to protect, but the idea of suing for I don't know what the complaint actually looks like. Maybe that's an oversimplification of the complaint.
Well, I
But-
read from
yeah,
it. I mean,
yeah.
but how do you, where would you draw the line on resemblance?
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem.
Anybody
that you
with
run
black
into. And
hair, or-
so this girl cannot be a model and star or be an actress and be in
Right.
things because whatever she does, Kim Kardashian will sue them for.
Or would own a
so-
piece of.
Mhm.
And apparently there's never been no, tanned, dark-haired women have ever made it before Kim
Well, look what
Kardashian.
happened with Marilyn Monroe and James Mansfield. James Mansfield, there were a lot of knockoffs of Marilyn Monroe back then.
Yeah.
She didn't sue anybody for looking like her.
Maybe she
She
should
was
have.
kind of busy with the Kennedy brothers.
Maybe she should have.
Ooh, gossipy here.
I love Mary.
So, the final space shuttle Atlantis came in for a safe landing yesterday. We're all very glad about that. There was a lot of emotion because this was the end of the shuttle program. However, I noticed a lot of people were declaring it the end of America in space. Is it the end of America in space, really?
No,
No.
absolutely not. There's already different plans to do different things. It's the end of that program, but it's definitely not the end of American space. That it's just they're looking for different ways to explore. Technology over 30 years has definitely been on the increase. So I'm sure there's they're going to develop faster ways to get into space. They're probably obviously going to go further and deeper into space. I don't think it's at the end of the space program.
There was actually a good little interview on Texas Public Radio yesterday that with someone from NASA talking about just the expense of that space shuttle program, an incredibly expensive program to run. And so one of the things that they were looking forward to is being able to take some of that money and invest it elsewhere. Some more planetary exploration, doing some practical things like getting how do you get heavy cargo into space, sort of moving forward in that direction.
Well, but again, NASA does not do a good job anymore about advertising or education about what they're going to do. They should have had a big thing out. Here's our next plans after we shut down the space shuttle. We're not stopping. Here's our next. I happened to catch one part of them talking about they're going to have 2 rockets. One will take the actual astronauts up, which will have escape pods and everything else like they used to have on the Atlas rocket. And the other one will bring up the payloads. And then they'll meet up in space. Now you have that big thing because they have such a big payload on there. It's not to get those astronauts up, it's just a huge payload. So, and which makes sense.